Well, hello, welcome back. So this message is for all of us today. Of course it is. It's from A Course in Miracles, universal in theme and application, but it really is for all of us, especially if you count yourself among the many people that are overwhelmed, that have taken on too much, and that feel like an invisible weight is upon your shoulders or your back or on top of your head, or you're kneecapped by it, you're dragging a ball and chain, any form of overwhelmment, overscheduling, feeling like you have to do this, that, and the other, too much. What do you do? That kind of thing. And let's be honest, the modern world encourages this. It rewards us as a badge of honor for being frantic. People get a dopamine hit, a social media hit, lots of likes and hearts on social media for being frantic. Frantic. And if you've ever wondered why, it's a really good question. So let's explore one answer to that question. It's useless, particularly in light of these teachings that we're going to talk about today. From chapter 4 of the text, part 1. And this is specifically, we're referring to paragraphs 7 and 8. The title of the section is Right Teaching and Right Learning. And whether you consider yourself overwhelmed, overscheduled, juggling plates or not, this is a message for all of us, because the core message, the content, is exactly the same, no matter what our outward form may take, no matter what our lives may look like, no matter who we're married to or not married to, no matter what we do for work or we don't do for work, all of that, all of those external distinctions, let's just set them to the side. Really, that's what Jesus is inviting us to do anyway, when we pay attention to the content and not the form. Exactly. So we feel in this ego-driven, mad world unworthy all the time. It doesn't matter if you have a partner that's abusing you and gaslighting you, maybe making you feel unworthy, or if you have a parent that is doing that to you, or they used to, or a boss, or whatever it is. This world makes us feel unworthy all of the time. It's our conditioning, because we're conditioned to want something that we don't have. We're conditioned to want more of what we do have, and there is a constant sense of lack with which we try to supply with external objects, with money, with a different job, with a different wardrobe, with a different hot, sexy lover. I mean, really, we try to supply this lack, and there is a perceived sense of lack. And here in the world, we don't even question why there's a perceived sense of lack. We just think, oh, well, that's the way it is. It's not the way it really is. Our worth has nothing to do with all of our shiny toys. It has nothing to do with our hot, sexy lovers, our bodies, our bank accounts, any of that. It has nothing to do with that. Our worth was established and has been established by God. It has nothing to do with everything that we run around trying to collect in the world. Our worth is established by God. We're worthy, naturally worthy. And here in the world, we don't feel that, do we? We feel unworthy and overwhelmed, stressed out, And we tell ourselves all kinds of things. If only I had this much more money, life would be great. If only I had a brand new Mercedes, life would be great. If only I had a new house, life would be great. If only I had this, if only I had that, if only, if only. So when we take a step back, which we're all invited to do here in spiritual practice, we can see the absolute futility of that. We'll never be satisfied with external stuff. Look at people that are mega wealthy in the world. They still want more. We'll never be satisfied with stuff. The Son of God will never be satisfied with illusion. That's not worthy of us. Deep down, I'll repeat something I've said before many times. We all know this. This is what has us on the spiritual path. It's what has you interested in spirituality in the first place. It's your inner teacher whispering to you, there's a better way. There's more to it than getting another Mercedes in this life. Nothing against a Mercedes. If you delivered me the keys to a Mercedes that, of course, was fully and totally paid for and insured with a full tank of gas, please and thank you. I would happily accept that. But you get what we're saying here. The ego-driven world has us overwhelmed and frantic and always questioning our worth and value. And furthermore, we're always trying to make reality different. We're trying to change it. This is really important. This is some hardcore conditioning, no matter where you live in the world. You don't have to live in the West like I do. I mean, you don't. It really doesn't make any difference where you are, because here in modern life, no matter where you find yourself, we're always invited and encouraged and programmed, really, if you want to be really honest, programmed to change reality, to remake ourselves. We're always in this process of transformation. And we countenance this in any number of ways, including ways that can be very helpful sometimes. Personal development, personal growth, a multi-billion-dollar industry where we're invited to remake ourselves and refashion ourselves and rearrange and reconstitute reality, assembling and reassembling its component parts so that we may experience something hotter, stronger, bigger, faster, sexier. So we're invited here in this course to accept reality as it is and not try to change it. Accept reality as it is. A very, very, very worth repeating, very powerful prayer is, help me accept truth as it is. Help me accept truth as it is. It's a very important and fundamental powerful distinction on the path. And I hope that the magnitude of this comes across. And maybe it will, maybe it comes across today. Maybe you've had the experience of that really hitting you, and maybe that's something that is to come for you. But wherever that lands, you'll hear this again because it's really essential for us. We spend our lives in the world frantically trying to be someone we're not. We are invited to accept truth, to accept our reality, creation, just as it is, which is absolutely nothing negative against the world itself, or our conditioning, or your parents, or school, your biology textbook that tells you this thing called Homo sapiens sapiens, a collection of made-up sounds, which we've gotten together and agreed constitute this thing that we call a species. I mean, really, we're unmaking the way we see the world here. So nothing against any of that. Your conditioning is simply what it is. It's not bad. It's not an evil monster to be made an opponent of. You don't have to bludgeon it into submission. You simply consider these ideas instead and set the ego ideas to the side. We simply change our minds. It's a mind training course. This is a course in mind training. Now, Jesus just comes right out and says that in chapter 1 of the text early on. And why not, right? Because that's exactly what it is. We deep down all know that we can't trust the ego. If you didn't know that on some level, you would not be interested in spirituality in this lifetime. You'd have absolutely no interest in this video or any of the other videos shot by me or anyone else in any spiritual or religious tradition worldwide. You'd have absolutely no interest in that if you didn't know deep down you can't trust the ego. It's nothing. It's constantly shifting and changing. What you want today is not what you're going to want tomorrow. What you're striving for right now isn't what you'll be striving for next week necessarily. If it is, then it won't be a couple of years from now. There's no consistency with the ego at all. And we know this deep down. There is a serious mistrust of the ego, which I invite you to sit with and to bring up to the surface and cultivate this mistrust, because there is a clear alternative. It's this thought system as we're talking about it here in this course. It's the thought system of the Holy Spirit. It is the practice of true forgiveness, forgiving the Son of God, not for what he did, but what he did not do. The separation never occurred. Ever. Accept truth just as it is. The separation never occurred. We're not separate from each other, and we're not separate from God. Help me to accept truth just as it is. Our worth is guaranteed and already established. It does not depend on how productive you are today and how many items you check off your to-do list. And my hope in repeating these ideas is that you find some comfort in this, really, really. This course is designed to undo the ego. It's to help you undo it. So it's going to come across as a serious affront to this conditioning that we all have through no fault of our own. That's why I really need to emphasize that let's not make an opponent out of your biology textbook. It's not bad. Your parents aren't bad people because they taught you the way that they did. We all do the best we can with the tools that we have at the time. Now you're getting a tool that will help you wake up. Big, powerful, right to the heart of the matter, and no messing around. So are you ready for this? Some of you are, I know, because you've been doing this longer than I have. Yeah. And if you're just new to this material and starting out, there's something deep within you that does not trust the ego that is causing you to watch this video to the end. Your inner teacher is speaking to you and you're listening. Yes, this is what I thank you for. Your dedication and commitment to practice and your listening to your inner teacher. We always hear the call as we're shown here in this course, and it makes sense. The call is universal and is always going out. The call to awaken, it's always going out. Very few of us choose to listen. We all hear it. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about any single one of us. We all hear the call. The question is, are you going to listen? And you are listening right now. That is very beautiful. So let's all consider the idea that rather than try to refashion and remake reality in order to feel better about ourselves, let's accept that truth is perfect just as it is. So are you. Help me accept truth just as it is. You may find, if you're practicing this, that the more you adopt this idea and take it to heart, the more you actually do see positive changes in your life. It starts with us. It starts with our own mind. All right. So thank you, as always, for joining me. Here's the subscription buttons right over here, the red arrow. I'd love to have you join me and subscribe to this channel. I offer these videos several times a week, and the aim is to keep them short, around 15 minutes or so. And if you're interested in longer conversation with live Q&A, I've begun a weekly live stream, which I'm going to offer right now. The plan is to offer it every Saturday at noon Eastern. The link to my Patreon page where that live stream will play and where all of the archived recordings will reside is here in the comments. So if you're interested in that, I invite you to check that out. And questions and comments here are always, always welcome. So please feel free to leave them. And I look forward to speaking with all of you. I'll see you again soon.